My name is Nigel, and I am the singer and songwriter of the Plymouth-based indie funk band The Curve, and this is my podcast, Songs Nobody Asked Me For. Well, I feel like I say this often, that it's been a few weeks since I've done one of these, and on the one hand, I'm slowly becoming slightly more contemporaneous, as in I'm getting closer to this being. Well, I think blimey, this is going to go out in a week's time, but I'm about 5 or 6 weeks ahead of myself at the moment, so it's not too bad. But certainly it's been catching up, and in one way, as I say, being contemporaneous feels good because it's a little bit more in the moment, but I'm keen to keep ahead of myself because I think it's very easy to get in a place where I don't want to be somewhere where I don't have an episode really at the moment. I'm enjoying this coming out once a week. It's a lot of work, lots of effort really, but that's something I'm learning about several things this week, and probably what I'm going to talk about really. So the date today it's the 14th of April 2026. The world is mad. We have blockades, we have fuel price rises, we have all sorts, and I'm hoping that by the time this comes out, maybe some of that stuff has all calmed down. I don't know. Probably doubtful, but you never know. So the world is in a strange place, and my head is in a strange place because I'm, 10 days away from our first spin-off concert from this podcast, called, as you'll know now, Songs Nobody Asked Us For. Very clever, you see. Songs Nobody Asked Me For. It's a podcast, Songs Nobody Asked Us For. Somebody called it a project the other day, and I like that. That's the project. And obviously, I've been trying really hard to promote that, and it made me think. I think I've done maybe two episodes of this podcast called "How Not to Promote Yourself," and I thought this might be called "I Might Have Done a Good Job at Promoting Myself," and I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I'm going to stop a second. This is one of those because I've got a different guitar on the wall here at the moment. I think it's resonating. I can hear it resonating. So I'm going to stick something in the strings to stop it doing so for a second. So I'm going to sit still like I do sometimes and then miraculously appear again. And there I am, back again. And hopefully it's stopped now. You may not have heard it, but it was really pissing me off. So, where was it? Yes, I'm thinking, have I done a good job or haven't I? And I'm going to tell you what I've done, and I kind of feel what's been quite nice about it, it's almost like there's a little buzz going on about the whole thing. And that feels good. I didn't bother telling you that time that the flipping thing's still doing it. It's much better. It's a big acoustic guitar, like a Dreadnought. And I think it was resonating slightly. So, I'm back. Yeah, I kind of thought I would share with you what I've been doing to try and promote this. And I felt that so far it feels like it's going okay. And in small ways, some things have happened very well. So a couple of weeks ago, I did one of these podcasts, just a quick one, telling people about this event, who was going to be on it. And it was kind of okay. It didn't do very well on the podcast list. Not many people watched it, but it was okay. And I also put it on Facebook, and I paid for this thing to be promoted. And I paid more than I would normally do. I mean, we have a little bit of money as a band set aside for stuff, and I used some of that. And I probably spent 20 quid on it, which is a lot really for me. I generally spend £3 or £4, £5 if I'm going to do a little promotion of a Facebook posting. But yeah, 20 quid. And then I also, maybe last week I set it up as an event, and I paid another sort of maybe 30 quid for that one. I had it going for quite a while. But those two ads, it really made quite a difference. And there's something else that made a difference as well, which I'll come on to in a second. So the first ad, the little video on Facebook, maybe it had 40 likes, but that's quite a lot for a lot of day-to-day stuff with the band. What was more interesting was that the event that I've promoted, the actual event on the 24th of April, that at the moment has about 45 people interested in coming along or saying they're interested in the event, which is amazing. I don't know. You will know because I'll have told you whether it's been very successful, quite successful, not successful. But for me, if I could get 40 people to come along, and the band, we're all trying to bring, if each of us brought 8 people, I don't know why I picked 8, that's 8, 16, that's 40, that's 80 people there. If we had 80 people there, it'd be rammed, and that'd be great. I would love that. So I think that's the first bit I did well. I targeted particular posts on Facebook in particular, and that has meant that there's been a little bit of a stirring of buzz from people interested in it. The other thing I did on Facebook this week, this last week actually, because what is it today, Tuesday, so the middle of last week, maybe Thursday last week, was I went on to a site called Plymouth Gig Guide, and I put the poster on there. Now underneath that I said, look, I told people what it's about. So in that sense, these adverts have also been saying what this is about, and saying that, we're trying to sort of create this buzz about original music. And as I've been doing this, I'm realising something I'm doing, which is in a small way, because I don't want to get too big-headed about it, but I'm trying to see whether I might help set a scene up here. Somebody, Craig, who's playing on the gig that I'm doing, that I've done. Craig, I've talked to him before on the podcast. He put us, the songs nobody asked me for, down on an Instagram, one of those little videos that he'd watched, and I watched this video, and very often people talk about here's how to succeed and stuff like that, and I get really pissed off with this, but actually this guy was I really made sense, and I'm thinking about a projector for the band, so that we can put up a sort of our logo on the back, but also I could show videos, and I might show this video at the beginning of the gig if I can get the technology here in time and I can work out how to use it. He was basically saying, if you're waiting for somebody to come do something, it's kind of like if you're waiting for the cavalry to come, if you're waiting for somebody to rescue you, to do something, nothing's going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen is what you do. And then he talks about, just promote yourself, let people know what you're doing, but be in the scene, support people, create events, invite other bands to play with you, go watch other bands. If you're playing on an evening when there's more than one band, stay for the other bands, give them support, just generate this thing. And I'm really struck by that. And on the Plymouth Gig one, I put down, a scene starts when you do something for yourself. That's what we're doing. And through that, I need to tell you one other thing. So I've done that. I did I promoted the 2 Facebook the event and the post. And the other thing I did was I met with the wonderful Bracken from Plymouth Culture. And Plymouth Culture are around trying to support music and the arts in Plymouth. And they do this kind of it's like a 2-minute video thing that they put on their Instagram feed, which just has somebody talking about what they're doing. And I wasn't expecting her to get me to do this, but I'm in the middle of the university. So it's kind of the arts centre there. It's lovely. It's called the Roland Levinsky building, and it's very swanky and relatively new. And this massive big open spacer in the middle of it, you would call that the sort of... and the lobby, I suppose, a big lobby, a massive big place with the stairs and everything. And she said, well, we're going to do one of these videos now, and took me to the top of the stairs and then just said, right, you need to just talk for 2 minutes about what you're doing, And I think it was kind of okay. People said I look a little bit nervous, but actually I looked okay. And then she got me to send her some stills of other people, Rob C. and Craig and ourselves, and then also some video with some music of us playing, and she did a really good job of just editing this stuff together. And that's gone around, that's gone on Instagram, Facebook, and that's probably got about 40 likes, and a couple of comments, people saying, I love this. And on the Plymouth Gig one, there are 2 people about, yeah, I love this, I'm really liking this, so, and I suddenly start to feel a little boost, a tiny little one of confidence, and thinking, well, maybe I've done this well, or done this okay as a start. Because what I'm saying to people is, this is the beginning of a little movement, I'm going to be setting up this forum to support original music. Now, from that, I've had 3 musicians stroke bands approach me saying, can we be involved? Which is fantastic. So I have a kind of sort of folk musician from Buckfast Lee, I think it is. He approached me. Really nice voice. Listen to him on Spotify. There's a band that approached me, a Plymouth-based band, and another band who I think are in North Cornwall, all wanting to do to be part of the process. And I've said to them all, the process is you come be interviewed by me on the podcast, and then you get to sort of be put on. I think it's going to be like a waiting list, really, of bands that I'll get in touch with to try and get involved with this over time. Very exciting, and people seem to be seeing it as a little buzz, a little movement. And I guess my hope is what that does is, and I mean this in a very small way, and when I say status, I mean a very small S at the front of it, but maybe raises the band's status slightly. Because suddenly with this band that are involved in doing this promoting thing for the community, which is really what I want to do, and it's very exciting because then, you know, it raises our status, but it raises my sense of doing something good for the scene and actually trying to create a scene, you know. I then got, you know, there's a couple of venues that suddenly started following us. We got maybe sort of 6 or 8 new people following us on Facebook. Maybe similar, you know, 5 or 6 people on Instagram. This is all within, you know, less than a week, sort of 4 or 5 days, you know. So I felt good about all of that stuff, you know. I've had little business cards. I think I showed one once before, but I've got new business cards done for the podcast and for the band. And on the back they have QR codes that on the podcast would lead you to the podcast, and the band lead you to our Instagram account. They look pretty cool. And what I've also done is I've done flyers for the October one, because that's the next one we're going to do. And that's gone out to, they're going to go out to printers, so that I'll have those, all of those things will be around when we do the gig. They would have been around when we did the gig. Along with, I'm hoping to get something printed up. It just says, you know, what our gigs are when we're playing next, you know. So we've got this stuff around. Going to get Rob and Craig to do the same if they've got stuff they want people to have. The October gig is going to have the Ragdolls, and also we played with a young, really, great energy in this young band called Queen Izzy's Bird Blizzard, I think. Oh, Queen Izzard's Bird Blizzard. I'm going to say this because I, you know, for me it's a new name. For you, no, I might have talked about it again. I contacted them because I said, look, I told them about the podcast. I said, I'd like to get you involved. Really keen to be interviewed. So they're also on my list. So that's 4 bands I have. Also, there's a guy called Jesse Mullins, and we've been trying to make contact to do one for ages. We also did some recording for Ocean City Radio, and the guy who engineered that, he's going to do one. So I've got these 5 people now to interview for the podcast, which is great because I was getting a little bit anxious about all of this. I've got a couple of people I've been trying to pin down for ages who, you know, are evasive, let's say. I don't think they mean to be. I guess people are busy, aren't they? But I reckon this first one is crucial. And so far, I guess all I can say is I feel I've done all I can do to promote it. The last few things I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to try to send messages to everybody who said they're interested in going, probably at the weekend, say, really hope you can come along on Friday. This following Friday. Please bring some people along with you if you can. And I'm going to go to the university across the road from the pub and put some flyers out in the cafes and that. But I'm going to do that about 2 days before the gig. I'm trying to get hold of the venue to get them to promote us on social media. I don't know why they're not getting back in touch, but I'm also working on the idea that at the moment I'm an absolute nobody in all of this. And maybe if we get a lot of people there, I become a tiny little somebody who they'll be interested in supporting. And my hope is, I think, from this, that I might initially try and do one of these every 2 months. But great if I could do one every month. It's a lot. You know, I'm suddenly realising that to do all of this stuff is a lot. But I think I'm trying to put myself in a position of realising that I have some confidence and age on my side at the moment to do this, and ability, especially if this is happening and going on, to be a person who could help people and support young acts. As well, you know, I want to support young acts, but I want to make sure that older acts like myself also have forums and spaces to play. I think I've just start buzzing with ideas. I'd love to maybe once every few months have a sort of evening in a pub where I just say, look, any original music bands, any musicians want to come along, just hang out with us. So that we're just meeting up with people, really. It'd be great. I mean, it's left me with a dilemma, which I'm hoping I've solved by the time you're watching this, is that I need somewhere to interview these bands. I'm really getting fed up with having to meet people on Zoom. It's sound issues are always there. I have to cut and paste them. You've no idea how long it takes. I did a lovely interview with Factor 30. I really enjoyed it, but they're on their phone, so and I'm on widescreen. So afterwards, I have to sort of cut it all so that I can edit theirs to make them look bigger on it. Otherwise, they look tiny, teeny because the whole video is being made in landscape and they're in portrait, and it just makes them look really tiny. And also, yeah, sometimes on that one in particular, my voice is louder than theirs. It's not easy, And I've got, again, Bracken from Plymouth Culture has been really helpful. She made a few suggestions. Cafe Momus have some recording rooms above them, and I might try and use that, but it might have to pay. But tomorrow I'm going on Ocean City Radio. That's another thing I'm doing to promote this. They've been really helpful. I think they're good partners to get on board, really. They're very involved in Plymouth Culture and really supportive of the Plymouth music scene. So I may see whether they have a spare room there. I'm going to go tomorrow, speak to Steve, who's going to be interviewing me about the gig, really, and the podcast again. And I'm supposed to be going on and playing with the guitar. That'll be fun. Not, but it will be fun. I get very nervous about things like that. More nervous than, as we've talked before, than playing a gig. But he asked if I could come and maybe just play a song on the acoustic, and I can do that. But maybe they have a room. It might be useful, and we will see, really. So. At the moment, I'm trying to feel optimistic whilst also feeling mildly terrified that maybe nobody's going to come. And actually, although I think I've managed to generate all this interest, maybe I haven't. But I think I have. I think somehow I've got to get some middle place, as I say. I think that for me, if I could get 40 or 50 people to come along, and that some of those aren't people we brought ourselves, that's a good start. What I don't want is to have 10, 15 people there, all of whom we've brought along, really. That would be disappointing to me, and I'd be pretty gutted, but I'm not going to give up. I mean, I have the October one, so it's April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 6 months away. It's quite a long gap between the first two, but I did that because, I don't think the Roundabout would have let me book sort of two next to each other because they don't know who the bloody hell I am and what this is going to be about. But also, I needed the time just to sort of make sure this worked. But after that, toying with doing one in December possibly with Horse Divorce and one of the other bands who've approached me who are quite sort of heavy band. I'm kind of looking forward to meeting them. It's not my music at all, but to hear about their experience in the scene here, really. And then, yeah, maybe trying to move to do them either 2 monthly or monthly. Same Friday of each month, like the third Friday of the month or whatever it might be, and see how that goes, really. There, that's where I'm at, really. Terrified but excited, all in one, really. Been good to sort of chat again like this. I kind of miss doing it on my own as well as talking to people because they're two different things, really. And being on my own here and talking is a lot easier in some regards because I can just let a theme emerge. But it would be a lot easier. The interview I probably enjoyed most so far because of this was with Rob C, and that was just because we could sit down together and talk. And then Pav, my friend, I was talking to him. That's always great when he was in the room here. But where I am here is not very easy because I'm not in Plymouth for people to get to. I've got to find somewhere. So if I'm still desperate and you're watching this and you know of anywhere I might go, do put something in the comments for me, please. That would be fantastic. As I always say, please like and subscribe this podcast. I've noticed, I was looking at my figures and thinking nobody was listening, and actually when I went down, there's lots of people downloading and streaming, listening to episodes every day. For the last couple of days, 3 days ago, I think it was 12, 13 people, and then it's 9 the next day, 7, 4, 8. It's kind of all around, and they're small numbers for you maybe, but for me they're bigger than I realised. And I realise what people are doing is they're catching up with the back catalogue, and that's fine, so that when a podcast comes out, very few people listen or watch it. But actually, once I start to look back, everything's been watched by about 30, 35, 40 people now, and it's growing. So that's good. And I guess the more the gigs happen, hopefully the more people will come and watch this, and that some of you will be watching this now. And hello, if you came across this via Songs Nobody Asked Us For. I think I probably need to set something up on social media for those as well, I guess. Feels a lot. I need to do something with the Songs Nobody Asked Me For Facebook and Instagram pages, because I don't put much on them. And all of this is, as I say, a heck of a lot of work, really. I really need to think about how I do this, because I need a set time to do the interviews as well, because I'm struggling to find any time to do them. My ideal is Wednesdays, between about 5 and 7 before we band practice after I finish work would be perfect, really. So if I can find somewhere to do it then, that's a good one, I think, but we will see. Anyway, do also like the band. Go and check us out, #music the curve would be fantastic. We have our new EP out now, which will have been out for a little while, called It Takes a Little Time, which is a line from one of our songs on the EP. So do check us out, and I will be back either by myself or a little interview coming up very soon. Bye.
Tell you that I love you, that I run